Welcome to Turning Moments into Movements, where each week we explore simple but powerful wellbeing tips to help you live a balanced and fulfilling life. My name's Leanne Ross, your host and the founder and coach of my business, Happy Luya, and I will be taking you through today's 15 minutes of insight and inspiration. Let's get started. Hello and welcome to this week's episode. This week's episode is all going to be on the 4 ways to increase your productivity levels. So let's just jump right in. The first one, and probably one of the most important steps in terms of taking that extra step, taking that extra initiative to really support your productivity levels, is focusing on your why. So often when I speak to people, and I include myself in this, I used to be the world's worst, is just focusing on the what. What did I want to achieve? What did I want to do? Really focusing on that. And sometimes when we focus too much on the what, we forget the other aspects. And of course, the how, the where, the when is really important. But for today's episode, when we're specifically focusing on increasing your motivation, I want you to focus on your why. Why do you want to achieve this goal? Why do you want to do well in your business? Why do you want to go on holiday? Why do you want to save for your dream house? So many different dreams. So pick a goal that you really want to increase your motivation around, increase your productivity around, and then focus on the why. And what I would really like you to do is write down 20 plus, so 20 at the very, very minimum, 20 reasons why you want to achieve this specific goal, why you want to really increase your productivity around this goal that you're looking to set. And the reason why this is so effective is what you find is people will have surface level reasons on why they want to achieve a specific goal. But for the rest of the reasons, they're going to be so much more deeper. So that's why I always suggest doing 20, because the more reasons you have, the deeper you need to really reflect of like, oh gosh, well, what else? Like, why else do I want to increase my productivity? So an example of this could be, I want to do well in my business, full stop. That's what I want to do. What is really important is that I focus on my why, because it really helps to increase that motivation. It's going to lead to more productivity. So surface level, I can be like, well, I want to be a successful businesswoman, I want to have more money, and I want to help people, help my clients. But can you imagine if I rattled off 20 reasons? How deep would I have to go? How much more would I have to consider to reach that 20 target mark? And the likelihood is I would come out with things that are so much more deeper of like, well, I never ever want to be burnt out again in the workplace. I never want to be in a toxic working environment again. That's a bit of a deeper reason. I want to help other people with their well-being because I know what it's like when you don't have that support. So that's another deeper level. I want to do well in my business because this is my dream job. I never 10 years ago would have ever realised that I could have the potential to not only set up my own business, but to run a podcast, to run workshops for clients, programs, memberships, help businesses. So the more reasons why you want to focus on this goal, the more your motivation will increase. So that would be my top tip. Number 1 top tip. Really focusing on your why you want to achieve this goal, and write a minimum of 20 reasons and have it somewhere visible. Have it on the first page of your planner. print it out and put it on your fridge. If you're like me, I'm in my fridge all the time. So put it somewhere visible, put it on your fridge, put it on your bathroom mirror. Have it like on your phone, have it as like your screensaver, whatever it is, whatever's going to work for you. Have your 20 reasons plus available. If you can get even more, aim for more. Keep adding to it, because more will come out when you think about your why. Why do you want to really achieve these goals that you're setting and increase your productivity? And when we're reflecting on these whys, they increase motivation tenfold. They will make such a difference. I have done this with clients where I've asked them to list off why they want to increase their productivities around something. And it's generally linked to goals and achievements. That's why I'm specifically talking about that. And the volume of motivation that comes from that conversation is really profound. So it's definitely something that is tried and tested. So I would definitely recommend for you to do that as your number one priority. The second one is to mark your achievements. I call them champagne moments. So really celebrating the champagne moments in your life, big and small, related to your goal, unrelated to your goal. Write a list every single day, or if that feels a little bit much, every single week, around everything that you have achieved. So it could be, I managed to achieve this small goal. I managed to do this. I increased my productivity on Monday and I was able to do a little bit more. A celebration is also that on Tuesday I was able to take a half day because I actually got way more work done on Monday. So, heaps and heaps of things. And once again, I would focus on quite a large number. If you're doing them every day, focus on at least 3. Actually, I'm going to challenge you, at least 5. And oh my gosh, I'm so rubbish at maths, but do a lot over the week, really, really increase that ability to mark your achievements and start to notice your progress, because acknowledging your progress will increase your productivity. It will also allow you to reframe on things that have maybe not gone so well. So if you're looking for more things to celebrate, you're maybe more likely to say, rather than, oh, that meeting didn't go as well, you can reframe it and say something like, well, I had a really positive meeting. Stop, let me have a think. Reframing is also really important when you are looking to mark your achievements. So things that maybe didn't go as well, didn't go the way that you really wanted to, you can reframe that and you can say something along the lines of, I attended a meeting that didn't go as well as what I thought, but now it's given me more insight that next time I go to that meeting, I need to be a little bit more prepared. So something like that can be really, really helpful to increase your celebrations, really acknowledge the progress that you're making as much as possible. The third one I wanted to touch on is a way to increase your motivation is to engage in self-care. Now, this is one that probably most people struggle with. It's something that I definitely struggled with before as well. But taking you back to a time in my life where I was working on average 60, 80, sometimes 100 hours a week. When I started to be a bit more boundaried and started to be a bit more structured and put in some non-negotiable self-care time in, my productivity levels flew up. They blew up in the air. And the reason why was because I was giving myself some downtime. I was giving myself that right to disconnect. I was giving myself that time to recharge. Things came to me much more freely. I was able to be more solution focused. I was able to engage in decision making. I was able to reflect more freely because I was giving myself that valid, time off. So engaging in self-care is really, really important. It helps us to replenish our energy levels. And, having had like quite a stark comparison of, when I was working really high hours every single week versus when I was, reducing those hours slightly and replacing those hours with self-care. My work progress was way better when I was increasing my self-care. If you've not listened to my self-care episodes, make sure you check them out because there's so much more around self-care, how to structure it. So yes, make sure you refer to that episode for a bit more information on that. The last one, and I've touched on this already, is self-reflection. Self-reflection, as you know, if you've listened to some of my episodes before, self-reflection is something that's so important. It helps us to debrief our brain. It helps us to really allow ourselves to be quite strategic in how we want to move forward. So when we're self-reflecting, it can be really helpful to think, okay, where am I? Where do I want to be? And how do I get there? And self-reflection is really just strategic planning. Self-reflection is maybe seen as something that's quite wishy-washy. It's linked to social work, it's linked to therapy, coaching, and absolutely it is, and there's a huge place for it. But it's really strategic planning. That's what self-reflection is. You focus on what you want to do. What have you learned so far? How can you do things a bit differently? What do you need to pull in? Do you need to pull in different resources? Do you need to speak to other people who have different expertise? Whatever that looks like. I have mentioned the Gibbs reflective cycle before in a previous episode, so I will drop that again in the show notes. If you are looking to structure your self-reflection in a really specific way, I would really recommend that model. It's broken down into different stages. It can give you different prompts. And really help you to be super intentional, really detailed around your strategy that you want to embed when you are looking to increase your productivity levels. So I feel I did go on a few tangents in this episode, but to recap, your 4 ways to increase productivity are: number 1, focusing on your why. Why do you want to increase your productivity levels? Why do you want to really achieve these goals that you're setting that's linked to the productivity levels? What does that really look like? How's your life going to change? So writing minimum 20 reasons why you want to increase your productivity levels is a really great way to start. The second one is really champagne celebrations. So marking your achievements, really recognizing the progress that you have already made. That is going to make such a difference, and it is going to increase your motivation. The third one is all about self-care. So really being intentional with your self-care. Refer to my previous episodes. But embedding self-care into your every sort of day practice, your life, is really important because it can increase memory recall, it can support solution-focused approaches, it can manage stress levels, it can help prompt creativity. The list is endless. So if you increase a bit of self-care into your life, your productivity levels will absolutely go up. So make sure that you are starting to do that as well. And then lastly, engage in self-reflection, because self-reflection helps us to be more strategic with our methods, what we're really looking to embed in our lives, and to increase our productivity levels as well. So if we have a plan in place that's foolproof because we've really reflected what's happened in the past, what went well, what didn't, what needs to change, really tying that into goal setting, effective goal setting, that can really increase our productivity levels as well. So let me know how you get on. If you would like to book a one-to-one mini coaching call with me, let me know, because very often it's really helpful to have a second person to go through your plan around how to increase that productivity levels. Really, really important stuff that we're covering today. We've just scratched the surface. As always, I will dive into more of these concepts in later episodes. I will dive in deeper into some of the concepts, some of the toolkits that we've explored. So make sure that you continue to stay tuned to this channel. Like, follow, subscribe. And yes, I can't wait to speak to you all next week. Take care. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Turning Moments into Movements. Why not check out coaching opportunities with me so you can really begin to enhance your moments into huge movements and begin to live the life you never thought possible? Details are in the show notes. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, leave a review and share this episode. Remember to also follow me on social media platforms through my handle Happyluya, where you will receive additional daily content. And finally, make sure you join us next week for more tips on how you can turn your small moments into life-changing movements.